Go. We got it. Okay, we're recording now. So I would love to do some recognition. So I would love for you guys to recognize somebody on here. They don't have to be in your community or anything like that, but the name of somebody who's made a positive impact in your life recently in the past couple of weeks. And they made you feel good. They've sowed some encouragement into your life. Maybe they prayed for you. Maybe they, just sent you some good wishes. We'd love to hear some names. I'm gonna read it out here. Mick Carrier, Kelsey Giggy, Emily Maurice, my sister-in-law, Patsy Young, Christina, Mick, Jamie, Melissa May, Emily, Katie Estrada, sorry. My neighbors, it's going so fast here. Anna Justice, Christine, Shannon Hildebrandt, Katie Rose, Katie Rollins, Stephanie Stewart, Christina, Kelly Eulis, Chantel, Kayla Kelly, Kendra McMurphy, Courtney Reinhardt, Bianca, Emily, all y'all, Amy, love it, guys. Love it. And so Sylvia Athey, we're still going. I love it. Keep that going in there. And the reason I went to gratitude actually is I listened to a podcast. Have you ever heard that podcast, School of Greatness, before? Check it out if you got the podcast app on your thing. School of Greatness, amazing stuff on there. And I listened to one of the interviews on there by a dude who was an old pastor that I used to listen to all the time, and he actually said, gratitude, like neuroscience has shown that gratitude actually is like a lubricant for your brain, like a literal lubricant for your brain. So when you go into that state of gratitude, it's basically like putting, when you have like your kids and their bike chain gets all squeaky and then you spray the WD-40 on there and it doesn't squeak anymore, or you got hinges. That's what it's like to your brain. Gratitude, limbers up your brain so that you can think of creative ideas, so that you can solve problems, so that you can focus on the good. And we're going to kind of get into this a little bit. And I'm going to call on some of you guys actually, because we want to, today is kind of a takeaway day. So who has read or who is reading Magic of Thinking Big? Anybody? Okay. So we got some people on here. I'm going to ask you guys again. I'm looking over here. I'm scrolling through the names. Okay, cool. So I'm going to be asking for some shares on here today, guys. So if you feel like stepping up and you have something you want to contribute on this, we're gonna call on you today to talk. But I want to talk to you guys about some parts of the book that have made an impact in my life. And so it's interesting starting off talking about that, right? That gratitude acts like a lubricant to the brain, and it enables you to think clearly. It enables you to think of solutions. It enables you to access things that you normally couldn't access if you were in a state of, misery, blaming, shaming, justifying. If you were, negative, or feeling sorry for yourself. Who's been there before? Like in a negative state? I know I have. I spent years in a negative state, and I didn't get anywhere. So, but one of the key principles to this book, and one of my favorite takeaways, if you believe in yourself, you instantly access how to, or you start the process of the how. So if you believe in yourself and you get a hold of that, right? If you believe that you can accomplish this, if you believe like, hey, Nate's asking for people to contribute on this call, and maybe you like put up your hand, but you're like, I'm not going to put it up again when he asks because I didn't think he was going to ask me to talk. And if you believe in yourself, or if you say this, if you say, hey, I believe in myself, I believe in my abilities, I believe in where I'm going. A lot of times that's what it is, isn't it? We believe in where we're going because like, I don't want to stay where I'm at, right? I don't want to stay where I'm at. I want to keep getting better every single day, little bit by little bit. And the only way I can do that though, is I believe it's possible. I believe that I'm capable of getting better. I believe that I am getting better, that I have gotten better. And the cool thing is that you actually start accessing the answers. You access the how. And, I heard Brian say a couple times when he's on here, he almost doesn't even want to touch technique, right? He doesn't even want to touch technique because, and I know exactly why. I know exactly why. It's because if you get this part, the answers start coming into your life. And it's not magic. It's not magic. It's not that these things are all of a sudden appearing in your life. It's that you have eyes to see them now. And someone asked Richard Branson, I think it was Darren Hardy, asked Richard Branson. Anybody know Richard Branson, the Virgin dude? Yeah, he's amazing. And he asked Richard Branson, he says, do you believe in luck? And Richard said, yeah, I believe in luck, but I believe the same luck surrounds everybody, right? I believe the same luck surrounds everybody. Only certain people know how to access it. And how do you access it? Well, Magic of Thinking Big, this book here, teaches you how to do it, starting with belief in yourself. Once you see it, then you can see the luck. You can see the luck. You can see the opportunity. You're ready. You're postured to receive. You're in that receiving. You're like a receiver going down the field to the end zone, right? And you have your hands up and you're looking over your shoulder for the ball, right? And if you're stuck in your negative mindset, you're just running down the field. You're not looking at the ball. You're not even ready for a pass. So if one hits you on the back, you're hoping that something's going to hit you, a pass is going to hit you in the back of the helmet and magically bounce into your hands, right? Because you're not even expecting it. And so all this does is get you to open your eyes and see the opportunity, see the abundance in the world, and believe that you can access it. But on the flip side, like we said, the opposite is also true. You stop believing in yourself, right? You stop believing in yourself and it turns off. You can't see. The blinders are back on. And negativity, I put this on here. I wrote this on my notes. Negativity sucks creativity. Fear takes away, but positivity gives. Positivity gives, fear takes away. Okay, so if you're ever stuck in that moment, if you're stuck in fear, if you're stuck in anxiety, don't beat yourself up about it, but just know this truth. Know this truth, because that's what other people do sometimes is, hey, I'm stuck in negativity. I'm negative. I'm a negative person. And then they start going down another rabbit hole. So stop that BS right now. Okay, stop that BS right now. Back it up and just know this truth, that fear takes away from you. Fear will not deliver you anything. It will not deliver you freedom from your problems. It won't deliver you the success that you want. It won't take you anywhere out of your problems, but deeper in, because you've lost the ability to access the things that will pull you out. And so positivity on the other hand, and these are my takeaways from the book, guys. This is just from the heart. Positivity, it opens up the world for you. It opens up resources. You get to see things for what they truly are, okay? Because I believe, I'm not telling you to believe in something that's not real. I'm telling you to believe in the universe that's real, because right now, every single one of you are surrounded by abundance. You're surrounded by sunshine. We started off looking at the sun. You know what I mean? We live in an amazing part of the world, most of us, right? And we are blessed beyond measure, okay? And we're even more blessed than we realize. And so it's interesting. There's a combat psychologist. His name is Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman. And I was a veteran, so I kind of shared some of my story last call I was on. I'm a veteran, served in the Canadian Forces. And so they got this guy. He's U.S. Army Rangers. He's American. And he came and he gave us a briefing before we went into Afghanistan. And he wrote 2 books. One book was called On Killing and one was on combat. And so he dealt with soldiers and how to get them to focus, basically. How to get us to focus on our missions, how to get us to focus on our job, and, how to shoot straight under pressure, basically. And so, but it's psychology. And I want to share with you guys something that's very, very interesting that pertains to this. And that is there's a state that you can go in. There's a state that you can go in called in the black. Okay, in the black. And so what happens in that state is you get all worked up in your head. You start breathing heavy. You physically lose fine motor control of your hands. You physically lose the ability to do small tasks like, say, shoot a weapon on target, or maybe, type on a keyboard, or pick up a pen and write something on a piece of paper. You physically lose the ability to do that. Do you guys see where I'm going with that? Fear literally sucks from you. Fear literally takes from you. You lose ability the more afraid and the more anxious you are. And so what basically Colonel Grossman taught us to do was to do deep breathing. So the second we came under contact, the second we came under enemy fire, we would try to take ourselves out of that state of anxiety. We try to take ourselves out of that fear place, that anxious place, and we would start breathing again, so we'd be able to access the part of our brain where there's positivity, where there's creativity, and where there is multiple solutions, right? Because if you get turned off in this world, if you turned off to fear and turn off to anxiety, and you get stuck in a moment, you know what? You ever been there? It's just like you can't figure out anything. You just want to lay in a little ball and curl up and kind of not figure everything out. Start breathing. Start believing. I got to mute everybody here.
It doesn't know they just put mute off in the beginning.
Oh, someone's popping off mute. Okay, there we go. We got it. I think we're good. Perfect. We got it. So yeah, so getting out of that state is important for combat soldiers as well. So this isn't just like an abstract idea, right? This isn't just some dude that wrote something that doesn't apply to everyday things. This applies to all things, guys. This applies to what we do in community-based marketing. This applies to what you do at home with your kids. This applies to everything, right? And it's about staying in that state of gratitude. It's about believing in yourself. And that's where positive energy actually comes from. So anyway, because the reason why that this book was such an impactful thing on my life is because I had come out of the military. I was dealing with post-traumatic stress. But when I was dealing with that, I was also super negative, and I was also had a victim mindset. I also had a lot of other things that were compounding my problems, right? I'm not saying like my psychological issues from tour or whatever, were not there. But what I'm saying is that my negative thinking compounded all of that stuff. So it's not like instantly when you start, believing in yourself that things like a cloud's going to float up to your house and a unicorn's going to pop off, and you know what I mean? And you're going to dance around with the unicorn all day and you're not going to have a problem again. I wish it was like that. It doesn't work like that. But, you are not going to compound your problems. You're not going to stay stuck in a rut. You're going to be progressing and not digressing. So here's something that I really like for this, because I tend to be a rigid thinker. I tend to be a black or white, true or false, BS or real kind of person. And this book challenged me to be open to new ideas and to new ways of thinking. Like there's more than one way to do this, right? There's more than one way to do this. That's why, previously jumping on a call with 5 minutes notice would drive me insane, right? It would literally, I would malfunction. I would, whatever a robot does, I'm going to malfunction kind of thing. But, I'm open to a new way of doing things. I realize that, this is another form of thinking. This is another form of activity, and it's at a moment's notice, right? And we got to be ready to deliver stuff at a moment's notice. We got to be ready for things in our life. Here's another thing. Ask yourself, how can I do a better job? Like, so when you do something, when you accomplish something, I think the danger, that's when the rigid thinking can set in. It's when you do something and you get a sign up, you finally sign someone up, or you sign up 4 people or 5 people. And then you're like, I know I don't need to be coached anymore. Like, I don't need to be on those rhino calls anymore. I don't need to learn different ways of doing this. Now I got this, right? I got this. And then, as you progress in this, you get to champ 6, champ 7, and stuff like that. That becomes a higher risk because the old ego starts taking over, right? The old ego starts taking over, and you think you got this, and you think that, there's only one way to skin a cat, and that you're good, right? You don't need coaching. And I was listening to something this morning, a podcast this morning, and this guy was talking about like, just looking at it from an outside point of view, human behavior, right? And isn't it amazing that the best athletes in the world are also the ones that spend the most time with coaches? If you look at human nature as a phenomenon, the best performing athletes out there are the ones that spend the most time with coaches. And so what should that tell you and me and everybody else, right? Is that, no matter what level that we're at, we always need a coach. No matter what we accomplish now, we're always going to need someone from the outside calling something from the inside out of us. And so belief and confidence. And so that's what I want to talk about, guys, is leadership, I think, comes into this whole picture when not only can you think big for yourself, but you begin to think big for other people. You begin to see things in other people that they do not see in themselves. And you begin walking them through this process, whether that be giving them a book like this, or that be getting them on these calls, give them a little text, give them a kick in the butt. So you need to be on here. You need to learn you need to get some positive influence in your life. You need some coaching. Because I think the main point of this book for me is like, look at the world we live in, guys. Honestly, like, it's crazy. Like you look on social media and people are waiting for some kind of drama in the world, right? And this is something I got off a podcast today. It's like, you know, they're waiting for people to fall. They're waiting for like the next celebrity to go to rehab. They're waiting for, you know, this is what makes the news, right? They don't focus on the celebrity that's an amazing dad or amazing mom or anything like that. Those stories don't sell. We're waiting for the worst of humanity. And a leader, I want to tell you guys this because it goes against a lot of stuff that you've probably been conditioned to your whole life. A leader goes against that whole tide of humanity. It goes against that. Okay? So a leader stands against that negative energy, right? And says, I choose to believe the best for myself. I choose to believe the best for my family. I choose to believe the best for the people in my team. And I'm going to look and I'm going to see, and I'm going to call it the greatness in them. And if I'm met with resistance, I'm going to believe for them because they don't believe it for themselves. If I'm getting resistance from them, it's just that they can't see it yet, but I trust that they will. And I'm going to be their coach and not their friend because I care about them so much. You know, we got this weird definition of love in this society. We all say we should all be loving. We should love everyone. Do you guys realize, like, I wouldn't be here if people didn't give me tough love at certain points in my life? Like my wife, if she didn't say, you know, you have to stop drinking in the garage by yourself. Like, I got back from my tour, I was a mess. I was like completely isolating myself. You know, if I didn't get tough love from people around me, I wouldn't be here today. So love isn't always giving someone a hug. Sometimes it's kicking someone in the ass. And you got to know when to do what, right? You got to know when to do what, but you can trust it. You can trust it if you're motivated by calling out the greatness in someone. If you're motivated by looking for the greatness in someone, but it starts with you. You can't see the greatness in someone else if you don't see it first in yourself. Right? Because guess what you're going to be? If you're looking for greatness in you, you're going to see greatness in others. If you're looking for negativity in your life, guess what you're going to see in other people? Oh, and guess what you're going to attract, by the way? Guess what you're going to attract? Do you think by some miracle that you're going to be stuck in this victim mindset, this, mindset of unbelief in yourself, where you just beat yourself up every day, and then you're just going to attract amazing people into your team? Do you think that's going to happen? Or do you think maybe that we got to start believing in ourselves first? We got to like take the stick out of our own eye so we can see clearly? What's up, bud? Okay, go ahead. And my son just came here. Do you think maybe we got to take a look at ourselves first and start believing for us before we can start believing in other people? I think so, guys. I think so. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of sheep out there, right? There's a lot of people that just follow this negative energy that they're attracted to it, right? And sometimes I got to fight the pull to that myself. But every morning I get up and I just try to be connected, be emotionally connected with my why and my belief. So I want to switch to you guys. I want to see who has some amazing takeaways. I know I took actually a lot of time on that one. Who has something to contribute here? Who has a couple minutes, couple takeaways? I'm going to scroll through here, so I need to see a hand. Come on, guys. I need to see somebody. We got to do this. There we go. I got Brenda right here. Okay, Brenda, I'm going to pop you off mute, girl. Okay.
Okay, so I've been listening to most of these.
Hey, Brenda, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Brenda Lindquist, and I live in Grand Prairie, Alberta. And I'm finding these Zooms totally awesome. I took a big step this morning, and I know a lot of people laugh at me because of it, but for me, it was really big. I actually drove for the first time since October.
Wow.
And it's just, it took a lot. When I went into the garage and I got behind my car and I started it up, it was like, okay, take a few deep breaths, you can do this. And my very close friends know how big of a step that is. So I did post it on Facebook. I've been getting some really good remarks, and I know it's strange. It's a really strange phobia to get behind that wheel and just go for it. So for me, that's a big step. And I actually made a connection yesterday, which was another big step for me, and just stepping out of my comfort zone. So, and yeah, and I'm going to Keto Academy, and
Awesome.
I'm getting on a plane all by myself, which is going to be another big step because I don't travel by myself.
Awesome,
So
Brenda.
thank you for all this. And like what you said, I coach skating, and everything you've said about, and the kids that I coach with, I'm on the ice with the most are the ones that are achieving the most.
That's awesome. And take a look in the chat when you get a second, Brenda. There's just a lot of love being dumped in there for you.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah.
so good for you.
I'm going to go home tonight and I'll probably cry. Like, that's the next thing. I'm going, okay,
Yeah.
I drove to work. Now I got to drive back home.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Love
Thank
it. You. Okay. We got time for maybe 2 more quick shares. We got Mick. Anybody else? We got Mick. We'll unmute him. It's first on the. There we go.
Oh yeah, I didn't read it, so it's about the book. It's about mostly of the insight of what I get from Camille and other people. And for me, it's just the first step is accepting that you will be human. So you are going to have your own excuse, insecurities, think you're not enough, the doubts, the risk, the failure, and mostly the failure. So you will have to go through those humans' emotions. So why not just think big and go it anyway and do it from an epic fashion, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just go big or go home. So you will have to feel it. So let's just go big.
Love it. Love it, buddy. That's awesome. Anybody else? Anybody else? We got time for one more. 3, 2, 1. Oh, here we go. I got some people. Sorry, I got to go through these. I got Tiffany here. I'm going to unmute you. Okay.
Hey,
What's
I
up?
am Tiffany. I'm from Alaska. And I just wanted to jump on real quick. And one of the things that I got the most from this book is that we like to, and it's something Brian said on Friday, we like to overestimate the importance and the brain power of other people and underestimate ourselves. And it's that hit me so hard because I do that to myself every single day. I try to tell myself that, you know, that's why they succeeded here, or that's why they, you know, they've gone farther than me there. And it's really that stop comparing myself to other people and know that I bring something to the table. You know, it's that I can be big, I can believe in myself, but I can't compare myself to another person. It's just not, it's never going to progress things forward. And, you know, that success, you have to think success instead of thinking failure, and that you are in fact better than what you think you are. And so, like, for me, it's that stop thinking negatively, stop thinking you're not good enough, stop thinking that, you know, just because that person succeeded this way doesn't mean that you can't succeed the same exact way. You know, it's that you have what it takes, and it's not, that you don't do or don't have. It's how you manage what you have right now to get to where you want to go in the future. And that there's so many little things that you can do every single day, and your attendance and your attitude, it's all the biggest thing. It's the most important thing for the future. Is your attitude now puts you in a position to have the right attitude in the future. And that's pretty much, I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, it's just stop giving yourself excuses. Stop giving yourself the ability to be negative. Stop giving yourself this, I don't have an education, I don't have good health. Like, just stop giving yourself the excuses and just do it. That's something that's been a struggle for me, is just doing. The doing.
Yeah.
I'm the preparing. I'm really good at getting prepared. I'm really good at writing notes. I'm really good at making everything look pretty in a box. But am I doing it? Am I actually taking the steps to do it? And so, like, that's the one thing that I really got out of the book. But yeah.
Awesome, Tiffany.
Thanks for letting me share.
No, thank you for sharing. We will do one more. I'm going to look through here. I got to look through these windows. We got one more share. Oh, we got Samantha. Let's do Samantha. What's up, Samantha?
Hey, y'all. Samantha from Atlanta. I want to piggyback off of what you were saying about it kind of goes hand in hand with ego and finding yourself a coach and a mentor. When I first started, super successful right out the gate. People were saying, read these books, do this personal development. But here I am. I'm like, oh, I don't need to get on Zooms. I've got this. I can sling ketones. I know how to sell a trial. I can recruit promoters. With that mindset, which made me shift to realize the importance of working on personal development and working on your mindset, it went completely crashed and burned. Mindset is everything. I remember my mentor, Sylvia Athey, in the beginning, she tried to coach me. And I remember I was like, I'm quitting. I can't believe she would say that to me. I can't believe that she thinks that about me. She's bossy. She doesn't understand me. It was all a victim mentality. And because of that, I was not coachable. So when you have somebody that comes to you out of love and out of a place where they want the best for you, being coachable is just as important as finding that mentor. So, and there's so many people too that we hear, I don't have a mentor. I don't have anybody to pour into me. I don't have a coach. My leader doesn't do this or my leader doesn't do that. Find a mentor. Like, even if you're following people on Instagram, you can find a mentor and let them guide and coach you without them in your inbox. So I have absolutely loved this Zoom today, like across the board. Personal development is everything. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm just gonna. All right, guys. Just gonna see everybody again. There we go. Perfect. So we're gonna conclude with that. I'm gonna give you guys a call to action. Okay. Your call to action would be to message your coach your takeaway, one takeaway from this Zoom call, or the book. So one takeaway from Magic of Thinking Big, and or from this call. Because I mean, the cool thing is when you associate on these calls, even if you didn't buy this book, you're still getting a lot of the gold nuggets from the book, right? And so you can still chunk it a little bit on here. So send a takeaway to your coach, and let your coach know that you appreciate them too, because that's a huge, huge deal. With that, guys, have a great Monday. Hope everybody's fired up. I'm fired up. It's spring. It's coming. I promise you guys. And have a great day. And we'll see you guys all this week. Stay with this, guys. We're going into like the last quarter here. So stay with it. Let's invite people on here. Let's pour into this thing. And let's keep her going. We'll see you guys. Have a great one. We'll see ya.
Thank you.